My name is Mac again, and we're right back here in Lexington, Mississippi for another segment of On the Road with the SPRA. Now, yesterday, if you caught me talking about the upcoming rodeos this weekend in Dallas, Georgia and Bremen, Georgia, I promised you a special guest with us when we recapped all the action from last weekend's Odenville Pro-Rodeo benefiting the Big Oak Ranch. And you know, I got my man on here, Mr. Carl Jones. He's with Broken Arrow Rodeo Productions. He teamed up with the Frontier Classic Rodeo Company to put on a phenomenal show. Carl, man, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm outstanding. Thanks for having me, Mac.
Man, I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, we talked about this benefiting the Big Oak Ranch. Won't you tell everybody a little bit about why we did this rodeo?
Mac, I tell you, we got involved with the Big Oak Ranch kind of late in the ball game, and after hearing their story and what they would bring to the table as far as their ministry and how they would use the money that we would raise for them, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt it was the only group that I could team up with to benefit from this rodeo.
You know, you and I could sit here and talk about it all day, but if you're watching here, I encourage you to go on to YouTube, just www.youtube.com, and in the search bar, type in Big Oak Cattle. There's a video, several videos on there about the Big Oak Ranch, but the one that says Big Oak Cattle really showcases exactly what that organization is about. Carl, what do you think about that?
I'm going to fall back on the same phrase I heard you say at the opening of the rodeo on Saturday night. And if that video from Big Oak Cattle don't pull on your heartstrings and move you, your wood's wet. You hear me, Mac?
That's right, son. If that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. You're exactly
That's right.
True. I guarantee you. You know, we had some amazing sponsors. One of our title sponsors, McSweeney, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They were set up out there with all the great Ram trucks. Crane Works, another great sponsor for us. We give both of them a little tip of Resistol here, and we say thank you for everything they did for your 2020 Odenville Pro-Rodeo and benefiting an organization like the Big Oak Ranch. Boy, you know, Frontier Classic Rodeo Company, they can put on an opening, can't they?
Yes, sir. They are first class in their openings, and they're again with what's going on in our country today. I think our community there at Odenville and St. Clair County needed to realize what we stand for in this country and what our forefathers fought and died for, and that's the only way I'm going to have any of my opening ceremonies at my rodeos, and I know it's the same thing for Greg Nord with Frontier Rodeo.
Man, I wouldn't have it any other way with LNG Voice Productions either. And teaming up with you guys was a pleasure last weekend. I want to thank y'all for having me. But, you know...
Oh, no, it was our pleasure, Mac.
The fans came out in full force on both nights. Now, this is something a little different about last weekend. There was two rodeos, a rodeo Friday night and a rodeo Saturday night. And we always have a Friday night performance and a Saturday night performance. But in this particular weekend, you had two separate payouts, a payout Friday night and a payout Saturday night. And, dude, this is how all the action shook out. In the bareback riding, Friday night, Cody Warnock, the Cowboy sitting number 2 in the SPRA World Standings. He comes in there with 75 championship points to cinch up the win. The number 1 Cowboy in the World Standings, Kenneth Glick, he came out there and tried all he could, came out just a little short with 74 points, but he still pulled that second place check. And then on Saturday night, man, James Hughes, this cowboy from Lawley, Alabama, you talking about tough as a burnt steak. He's a father of twins. He comes out there and just puts the spurs into one, makes the 8-second ride, and I don't know about you, but then he scared me to death. He fell off and got hung up, did a little Morse code down the back panel there. All the cowboys were just on that horse like a swarm of bees. They got him stopped, got him off. James Hughes, after all that, still captivated 72 points for that third place check. Cody Warnock, the cowboy that won on Friday night, comes back on Saturday night with 78 points for the second place check. And then my man, Mr. Blake Arp. Boy, multiple time SPFR qualifier. He happened to draw the two-time bucking horse of the year. A horse they call Curious George. And when the dust settled, the smoke cleared, man, Mr. James Bearden and Mr. Hal Roberts, they tallied up the scores. 79 points for the win there on Saturday night in the bareback. And that wasn't all of the bronc riding. We switched gears just a little bit and went to the classic event of rodeo, the saddle bronc riding. My man, Kenneth Glick, I told you, you met him back there in the bareback riding. Well, he's an all-around cowboy. He's also there in the saddle bronc riding. 74 points there on Friday night for the second place win. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the second place win as well on Saturday night. That was Kenneth Glick with 74 points on Friday night. Cody Pringle comes in there on Saturday night. Now, he is the reigning SPRA world champion. The cowboy also is the reigning SPRA all-around champion. 71 points for the second place win on Saturday night. I did that for a reason for the two second place wins. Because my man from Cottondale, Florida, the Bronx Stomper, Joe Farron, this dude has been on fire this year. He come in there, like Booger Brown said at one of our rodeos, he spurred him from his ear hole to his tail hole both nights. 76.5 points on Friday night, 78 points on Saturday night for 2 wins and 2 first place paychecks there for Joe Farron. Man, those broncs that Frontier Classic Rodeo has, dude, they're not any joke, are they?
No, sir. No, they're some of the best stock I would say in the South. And going back to what you was talking about with the our pickup man, I really think that we got some of the best pickup men in the SPRA also. They're phenomenal. Fireball Hester and Mitch Splone. They're outstanding.
Mitch Splone from Jemison, Alabama. I've worked around that cowboy and with him for a lot of years, and they don't come no better than that. And then Fireball Hester. Boy, Fireball Hester, I tell you, multiple time SPFR Pickup Man of the Year. He knows his job. He knows how to do it, and he does a good job at it, protecting the cowboys. I like to call them the 2 hardest working men on horseback, you know.
They work phenomenal together as a pair. They are outstanding pickup men.
They really do. They both a pair of hands. You know,
they complement each other very well.
We transitioned down to the time box end of the arena for the tie-down calf roping. On Friday night, this is how it shook out. Zach Varner was 11-9 for the third place win. The cowboy from Email, Alabama, Coco Hurst, comes in there. He's sitting about top 10 in the world standings right now. He was 11-2 to pick up the second place check. Then the number 2 cowboy in the all-around race, Pontotoc, Mississippi's own Cooper Christensen, comes in there, flanks one down, throws his hands in the air for 10.8 seconds to get the win there on Friday night. Now, you heard me talk about Zach Varner there on Friday night getting that third place win with 11-9. Zach answers back on Saturday night and just says, wow, I think I need to get me some first place money. He tightens up his belt loops, 9.9 seconds for the win there in the calf roping. We got those cowboys out of the arena, brought in the pretty cowgirls for the breakaway roping. And in the breakaway roping, man, on Friday night, Miss Allie Tate, now she's been roping necks for a long time. And she's been in a little bit of a slump lately. Well, guess what? She showed up and showed out on Friday night. 3.3 seconds earned her a third place check at the pay window. Then Ms. Morgan Goodrich from over in Scuba, Mississippi. Now, something unique about Morgan. She is the East Mississippi Community College rodeo coach over there. And she's the 2019 Ozark Region Rodeo Coach of the Year. Dude, she put the Western necktie around the calf in 3 seconds flat for the second place win. And Ms. Marley Malcolm comes in there and cinches up the first place win with a 2.8. Marley is a lady that I like to say is one of our first responders, our heroes. She's a registered nurse, and she's also in school right now to become a nurse practitioner. That's how it shook out on Friday night. On Saturday night, 2019 SPFR Qualifier from Clanton, Alabama. Ms. Jordan Wade comes in there with 3.4 seconds for third place. Maggie Lamb answers back for 3.2 to get the second place win. And then in first place, we see Morgan Goodrich again. And she was 3.1, but Ms. Rachel Kittle, she comes in there. Dude, this little cowgirl she's leading the high school race. Last week over in Georgia up there, she was 2.2 seconds, I believe. Yeah, she was 2.2 last week. She comes back this week, answers Morgan Goodrich with an identical 3.1 to split first place there. And, you know, the Cowgirls do a great job with that. On to the steer wrestling, the big men. On Friday night, Charlie Langley, the elder statesman, comes in and splits first with the millennial J.T. Ellison with 4.2 seconds. And on Saturday, Cooper Christensen, the cowboy that's sitting number 2 in the all-around race from Pontotoc, Mississippi, gets the second place win with 6.5 seconds. And then J.T. Ellison goes back to the pay window for the second time with the first place win on Saturday night for 6.0. Man, they were slamming steers. They were, they back there in the box. They nod, ride, hit, and slide. And they were doing some of it. It was mighty, mighty exciting. Then we brought in the dynamic duos of rodeo, the team ropers. In the third place win, Zach Wilson, Billingsley, Alabama, and Red Burney from Email, Alabama. Third place with 7.2 is what they stretched it out in. I talked about the elder statesman earlier, and these two guys right here have been around. They've been stretching steers out a long time. And experience over youth paid off for the second place win. Charlie Day and Bubba Bozeman, 6.3 seconds. And if you were there on Friday night, Bubba Bozeman happened to be up in the announcer's box about the time that I was going to go to the prayer. And I turned around and I said, Bubba, you want to pray for us? He said, absolutely. And when Bubba Bozeman laid down a prayer on Friday night, I'm telling you, the hair was standing up on the back of my neck. It was
mine too.
It was amazing. For the win there on Friday night, Zach Wilson, Billingsley, Alabama, comes back to that pay window for the first place win on the head side. And the Cowboys cinching up the backside, sucking up the feet. He hails from Winfield, Alabama, home of Mule Day. 6.2 seconds for Zach Wilson and Dakota Arnold to get the win there on Friday night. On Saturday night, Matt Watt. Now, he's a high school cowboy from Geiger, Alabama. He high schools over here in the Mississippi High School Rodeo Association. He is a former Mississippi High School Rodeo Association champion on the head side. Mr. Goody Goodrich teamed up with him for 5.9 seconds in the third place win. On to the second place win. Goody Goodrich comes back in there, swaps over to the head side with Jeff Pierce for 5.8 seconds. And then cinching up the win, Jake Wells and Shane Edmondson, 5.7, stretching it out, dude. It got salty. It got real quick there in the team roping. All the times were pretty close. And the people that were just out of the money, when I mean just out of the money, they were just out of the money. A lot of great team roping last weekend in Odenville. We came to our Pretty Cowgirls and the Lightning Fast American Quarter Horses. On Friday night, Miss Emily Hedrick comes in there from Madisonville, Tennessee. Now, this cowgirl picked up a check for the second weekend in a row. She's an amazing trick rider as well. She can also come out there and turn some barrels. 13.366 for the fourth place win. The number 2 cowgirl in the world standings, Lauren Pringle, who is also the 2019 SPFR average champion. She brought home the third place check with a 13.343. Ms. Michelle Quinn, and she's been mighty tough this year as well. I think she won the Soco Park Rodeo over in Tuscaloosa earlier this year, and she's mighty consistent with her winnings week after week. She comes in, gets the second place check with a 13.174. But then Maggie Ray Smith, boy, she comes in there and says, you know what, Michelle, you laid down a 13.174. Let me see if I can top it. And top it she did. 13.152. That close. But she did take home the win on Friday night. Then Saturday night rolled around. Jessica Grace, that cowgirl's from up in Jasper, Alabama, she took home some money with a 13.559. Ms. Alyssa McFarland, the Georgia Peach, comes in there on Saturday night. She's sitting fourth in the world standing. She laid down a 13.446 for that fourth place win. Then Ty Lynn registered. Ty Lynn had a little tough luck on Friday night. She came around the third barrel, and if you remember her, you'll know it when I say it. Her horse went to bucking right after the third barrel, and it bucked all the way up to that alley on Friday night. She had a time, but it was kind of long. She didn't get in the money. I think I gave her like a 73 point in the Saddle Bronc series. But on Saturday night, she comes back. That horse's name is Kinky Register. 13.280 for the third place win. And then the Utah, Alabama Flash, Ms. Angela Hudson, the number one cowgirl in the world standings, former SPRA world champion. 13.228 on the horse she calls Amazing for the second place win. But then the number one cowgirl, she hails from Wiggins, Mississippi. She is leading the high school race right now. She's on a big old tall gray giraffe. This dude has legs from the ground all the way up to the bottom of his neck, and he covers some ground. 13.091 to win the rodeo on Saturday night, and the fastest time of the weekend for the high school cowgirl, Miss Gabby Hayes. That's how all the barrel racing shook out. And then the fans were sitting there on the edge of their seats waiting for the final event, the one everybody likes to wait on, the big bad bucking bovines, the bull riding. You know, you're talking about the pickup men. Boy, the bullfighters are second to none, too.
Oh, man, you just can't. You can't ask for nothing better than old Buddy Bush, everybody.
Yeah,
and I mean, they was outstanding bullfighters.
Buddy Bush come in there. He took a shot on Friday night. That bull rolled him like a tomato off a vine, dude. He gets up,
yes,
and all
sir.
he did was make him mad. He wanted more.
Yeah.
And Jared Dillon stepping in there. He kind of coming out of retirement, filling the gaps for us and really helping out as well. We thank both of those cowboys for all they do. On Friday night, Brian Ferguson, the number 4 cowboy in the SPRA world standing, hung in there just like a hair in a biscuit sun, rode the hair off of him for 85 championship points and the win on Friday night. And then Saturday night, Nace Boswell cinched up the win, rode the bull, 70 points, put the steel in the beef for the win there on Saturday night. That's how the action shook out there in Odenville, Alabama last weekend. Carl, man, the outpouring of support for this rodeo with all of your sponsors was absolutely amazing, especially for a first-year rodeo. McSweeney, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You worked for the other title sponsor, Crane Works. Tell us a little bit about those guys.
Well, I'm gonna start off there with McSweeney. When we started this deal back in March with the Cattlemen's Rodeo, I went to McSweeney and we showed them what we could do, what we could bring to the table, and they jumped on board with us that first time back in March, and we showed them what we could do. And then coming back here in October for this Big Oak Ranch Rodeo, they come to us and said, "Hey, we want it." And they showed up and showed out with their sponsorship, and then those nice Ram trucks, and then Crane Works. I don't know what to say. They're just a huge, huge sponsor to get on board, not only for Broken Arrow Rodeo and Spfr Classic, Big Oak Ranch. They love the Big Oak Ranch. They're huge supporters of Big Oak. And getting back to what you was talking about, the fans, Mac, it was just a blessing to me and my folks that helps me with Broken Arrow and putting on that event. There's nothing I could ever do to say to show them how much we appreciate all those fans coming out in this time of year, and with what's going on, it was amazing. It really was.
It absolutely was an amazing rodeo. And we want to also say thank you to our sponsors here for On the Road with the SPRA. The Cowboy Shop over in Rookville, Georgia, along with Alpha Insurance. If you can dream it, they can insure it. If you want to get you a new trailer anywhere, do me a favor and go check out Dixie Horse and Mule Company first. Give them a shot. Our friends at Roanoke Stockyards, the Green family over there in Roanoke, Alabama, putting on that sale every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Anniston and Oxford, Alabama's Pickett's Feed, Pet, and Boots over there. They got you hooked up 10 ways to Sunday. You want to go from competing to winning? www.magnoliabarrelhorses.com has got you covered 10 ways to Sunday. And then another great Ram sponsor that sponsors On the Road with the SPRA is our friends in Anniston, Alabama at University Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We say thank you for all your support. Carl, you got anything you want to leave the fans with today? Next with Sherry Wilkins, the Cowboy Shop, and your reigning stock contractor of the year, Southern Rodeo Company in Bremen, Georgia, for 2 action-packed nights with the SPRA. Guys, my name is Mac again, and I live right here in Lexington, Mississippi. It is a pleasure to take you on the road with the SPRA. www.sprarodeo.net. Y'all come see it.